Welcome back to another episode of Beyond Organised. I have here the lovely Dr. Sarita Singhal. And just to give you a bit of a background on her, she is a pediatric gastroenterologist by training and works at Connecticut Children's Medical Center. She is also a certified parent coach and mum of 3 beautiful boys. Dr. Sarita helps parents build a strong relationship with their children and find more peace and joy in their parenting journey. She has created a care model, which is a 12-week program that takes her clients to a much more connected place with their kids and helps them become a confident, connected, and empowered parent. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you, Mel. Thank you for having me here today.
Oh, it is so lovely to have you. I've been so looking forward to having you on this episode because, as most people probably know, I've got 4 kids and life can be chaotic. Doesn't matter how organized I am, there is still so much that you can't control, particularly with little kids. And it can get really overwhelming sometimes just because of them. So I've just been so looking forward to having you on here. I'm really excited. So to kick us off, what inspired you to become a parent coach when you're already a doctor?
So, as a pediatrician, I felt pretty confident stepping into parenthood. I felt like I had the training, I had the knowledge, I have the experience of working with kids, so I was very well prepared. But very quickly, I realized that real life with your own children is so much more different. Uh,
Yes.
Things were pretty manageable at first when I had my first kid, but as I had my second child, everything kind of shifted for us. Suddenly, I
Mhm.
was parenting these 2 kids with completely different personalities, and what worked for one of mine didn't work for the other. Over time, I found myself struggling to connect with them in the way I wanted to, and then the work was getting busy, so balancing the work and the family life was getting harder.
Mhm.
Um, I just felt exhausted all the time, kind of juggling it all. And then there were moments I just felt overwhelmed and
Yeah.
frustrated. And I love my kids like most of us do, and we want to do a good
Mm.
job. But this constant stress, power struggles, and yelling, it started affecting our relationship. And I would
Mhm.
just promise myself that I'm not going to yell, but I found myself to be on the edge all the time.
Yeah.
And it just was too much for all of us. Like we were all exhausted. And over time, I realized that something needed to change. I didn't know what to do or how to do it. So I started with like small steps. I started reading books, listening to podcasts, and it just wasn't enough. Like I couldn't stick to all the knowledge I gathered from these things. And then over time, I was like, if I need to transform our dynamics, I need to go deeper. I
Mhm.
really need to learn some new tools, some new strategies, not just for my kids, but for myself. And that's when I started learning about positive parenting. And that's when I started working on like understanding the nervous system, right? Like how their
Mm.
brains work and what drives their behavior, what are their needs. And at the same time, I did a lot of inner work in understanding my generational patterns, like my
Mhm.
behaviors, my fears and beliefs around parenting, and learning about my nervous system and how to regulate it. So I learned a lot as I went through this journey myself. Um, and I started focusing on like emotional connection with my kids. And over time, I did see a shift. I mean, we're not perfect. It's not that I never yell.
No.
There are times when I still do. But I
Yeah.
do feel that it's so much better. And now I have a
Mm.
third kid too. So I mean, things
Yeah.
are so much better. And that kind of drove me into getting certified and becoming a parent coach because I want to help other parents now. I wanted to help other parents find the same peace and connection that I did. And I truly believe if you have the right tools and support, we can all become the parents we hope for.
Yeah.
And we can build a strong relationship. But a lot of people just don't know what to do or how to do it. And that's
Yeah.
that's where my role comes in. And that's what I want to do.
Oh, I absolutely love that. And you're so right when I think as parents we want to have the manual, right? But there is no
Mhm.
manual. And just to have someone in your corner cheering you on and just going, "It's okay. This is
Mhm.
normal." But instead of continuing down this path, we can just pivot a little bit this way. And I love that. And it really does take a community. And I think we live so separately and independently these days. And we're left having to raise these little ones on our own, really. And it can
Mhm.
be really hard. So how do you help parents as a coach?
So there are many different ways in which I can help parents. I have this program called Care Model, which is what I use to take my clients to a much more connected place. I see parents struggling every day in my medical practice, my neighbors, friends, relatives, and I
Mhm.
feel like they're exhausted. They want to do a good job. They want to build a strong relationship without power struggles, but don't always know how.
Yeah.
And that's why I created this care approach to make things simpler for the parents. And I can take them from a place of frustration to a place of connection with their kids. So it's basically a 12-week program, and I've divided into 4 phases. In the first phase, I talk to the parents about them, like their well-being, about taking care of themselves, because you can't show up fully for your child if your
Yep.
your cup is empty.
Oh,
And a lot of
definitely.
us parents, like we don't prioritize taking care of ourselves, like mentally or physically or emotionally. So
Yep.
the first phase of my program is focused on parents taking care of themselves. Also, I talk about, understanding their generational pattern, their parenting styles, like how are they doing things currently and what drives them to do things that way. In the second phase, I help parents connect with their child on a deeper level. So we
Mm,
talk about understanding the child's brain, their nervous system, their developmental needs, decode the difficult behavior, and learning how to co-regulate your child when they have tantrums or like those difficult emotional moments. And then I teach parents tools on how to communicate effectively with their child. So their message is clear, it's compassionate, but at the same
mm.
time, like emotionally attuned with their child. Then we work on establishing healthy boundaries, like in a respectful yet firm manner. And lastly, just put it all together into their family system. So applying all these tools and learning that you still have to be flexible and compassionate, because with parenting, right, it's a lifelong thing.
Yep.
As your kids are growing, you encounter different problems, different struggles, different
Yeah.
needs, your child's needs. So we work on like how you can apply all these different tools that you've learned in different phases of life.
Wow. That almost sounds like what I need, really. It sounds so good and so comprehensive. And I love that you start off your program with putting us first, putting us as a parent first. And
Mm.
that's something that I coach on as well, just
Mhm.
from the organizing space is, yeah, you can organize your time and your home and work and money and all of that, but self-care is a very critical part of it too,
Yeah,
and you can't give from an empty cup. So I
exactly.
say the same thing. So I love that, because yeah, once we start to refuel ourselves and kind of find our own identity in some ways, as a parent with this, it makes sense to then be able to then I guess have a bit more patience and a
Mhm.
calmer manner when dealing with our kids.
No,
So,
absolutely. I feel like I'm not the best at self-care.
mm,
And when I'm making my schedule for the day, or like when I wake up in the morning and think about how my day is gonna look like, I don't always include like my exercise schedule or like,
mhm,
any any
yeah,
uh, any breaks for myself. And
yeah,
I would say over time, I'm becoming a little better. Like I pick
yeah.
up my 2-year-old right after my work from his daycare. And now at times I will get to his daycare and I'll just sit in the car and, take a break
Have
for
a
10
minute.
minutes before I step in, because I know like once I
Yeah,
pick him
I'm
up,
the same.
it's gonna be crazy the rest of the
Yeah.
day, because then I'm driving the older kids to their activities. So
Yeah.
yeah, I've just kind of like started incorporating some breaks here and there, or just so I can take a breath, put
Yeah.
myself together.
It's so funny how when we're helping other people, it's so easy to be able to pinpoint different things and, "Oh, yeah, try this and do that." But when it comes to ourselves, sometimes we're like, "Hang on, we need to take our own advice here."
Yes, yes.
So even we aren't perfect as
Yeah,
coaches.
no, absolutely. And it's funny, like my husband would often remind me of this that, okay, you gotta, you have to go for your yoga session. You can't miss
Yeah,
that. And I'm like, how do I go? Like my schedule's so
yeah,
packed with kids stuff. And he's like, it's okay if one of our kids misses, one swim
yeah,
lesson or tennis lesson or a class here and there, but you gotta take
yeah,
care of yourself, and he
that's
says
it.
that too. He's like, "That's what you preach people, right? That's what you
Yeah,
tell other
oh, my
moms."
husband's the same. My husband's the same, but it's been really good because he's stepped up and sort of taken on a lot more so then I can have that break too, and it sounds like your husband
That's
is
awesome.
good
That's
like that too,
awesome.
so it
Yeah,
makes all the difference being part of a good team, hey?
absolutely. It's a teamwork, and we have to divide and conquer, and it's
That's
not
it.
easy, but it's doable.
Yeah, definitely, I agree. So what do you like in your experience so far, what do you feel is sort of the main thing holding these parents back from this life moving forward?
Yeah, I feel like one of the most important things I've learned, both personally and in my work as a parent coach, is that transformation is possible for anybody. But it's true that a lot of people get stuck even before they begin because real change comes with a lot of resistance. Change is
Yeah.
hard.
Mhm.
And the process before you step into any kind of transformation process, it feels so big, it feels so uncertain, and it is uncomfortable. And when you go through any kind of coaching, so when I coach people, it requires a lot of effort, a lot of self-reflection, and sometimes they end up stepping into unfamiliar emotional territory, which is
Mm.
very challenging. Our brains are wired to seek what's predictable and familiar, even when it's not working. A
Yep.
lot of parents I work with, they know that they don't want to yell, they don't want to shut down, but falling into those patterns is so much easier than trying
Yeah.
something new or something vulnerable. And then I also feel that we all carry so much of what we've seen and experienced in our childhood,
Mm.
often without
Yep.
realizing it. So, if we grew up in a house where yelling, control, emotional distance was normal, we might fall into those same patterns without questioning them. And
Mm.
and breaking those patterns, breaking the generational patterns takes a lot of courage, takes a lot of awareness. And and that's where people meet resistance. So I feel like you need to do a lot of inner work, which is difficult to do. And in parenting, we most of us fall into trap of thinking that we have to manage our kids' behaviors. We have to correct them, we have to control them, we have to fix them.
Mm.
And we don't realize that what truly needs work is us. Like we need to do a lot of inner work. And change
Mhm.
lies within us. So how are we reacting to things? How are we understanding things? That's really important. And I feel like that's the biggest barrier
Yeah.
in
Well, they
transformation.
they copy us. So
Mm,
if we're yelling that, like, my 3-year-old, she's a lot like me. And I love some of your posts that you've had on recently about how our little ones can be like us, and
mhm,
how that
mhm.
sort of conflict with the ones that are most like us. And she is a little me. She's a little redhead and got
Um,
all the fiery attitude. She's got the whole lot going on. She's also the most like sweetest, polite, beautifully mannered child there
mhm,
is. But boy, if she's not happy, the whole world knows it.
mhm,
And it's hard at times because I mean, I'm not much of a yeller, but there are times when I get frustrated and if I was to smack her, she would smack back. If I was to yell at her, she would yell back. So, like, I guess things that I grew up with just they wouldn't work with her anyway. And
mhm.
I'm not, I'm not big on smacking and all of that anyway, but um it's more if I was to do like physical things with her, she would just copy it back
Yeah.
and we would get nowhere. So I have to have more of that approach of I've got to approach her calm and then hopefully she comes down to my level, even though on the inside I could be boiling and just like, just stop. But it's like, it really starts with me and how
Mhm.
I approach her because she's going to copy me ultimately. And if she sees that I'm not yelling at her and hitting her and that, then every now and then when she goes to hit me and she's yelling at me, I'm like, hang on a second, am I doing that to you? No. Like, so it's a work in progress. I mean, she's also 3. That's like
Yeah, yeah.
not a great
That age is
age.
tough. Yeah, toddlers are they
Yeah,
have their
it's
own
just a
minds
season.
and they're seeking all that independence, and I absolutely agree with you. And
Mm,
that's the key. We tell our kids not to yell or scream or behave a certain way, but we're doing the same thing.
yeah.
So,
They're like,
kids
well,
probably
you're a
wonder,
hypocrite.
like, it's okay for mom to do this, but
Yeah.
not okay for me to do this.
Yeah.
So this is an
It's
important
confusing.
part of it's very
Mm,
confusing, exactly. So, and especially for toddlers, because
yeah.
their brain
They're
is still
absorbing everything.
developing and they're absorbing everything.
Yeah.
And that's why one of the important things is for us to be aware. You may be somebody who is not yelling, but you may be somebody who is shutting down. Like there are
Yeah.
different ways of how people react to stress and
Yeah.
frustration and overwhelm.
Yeah.
And we just need to be aware, okay, I am stressed now, and then have some tools in your box to regulate yourself. And then you work with your child in regulating them. Because if you're
Yeah.
yourself dysregulated, you can't really help regulate your child. And that's
Yeah.
when things kind of start spiraling down.
Yeah. Completely agree. As much as I even like, I feel like I know a lot of this and I'm trying a little bit. Gosh, even 4 kids in, I feel like I need you.
Oh,
I could
no,
learn so
absolutely.
much
I'm
from
here
you.
for you, Mel, anytime. Just
Oh,
sometimes
I feel
just
like
talking to
every
other
parent
moms.
needs you.
Yeah.
Like, I think it doesn't matter how well we feel like we're doing or other people might be complimenting how well behaved our kids are or anything like that. We could all use just a little bit of a different perspective or refresher or encouragement because there are some days that are so, so hard. And,
Mhm.
one of my beautiful friends, she reached out recently because she's struggling with her boys
Mhm.
and it's all so full on. And so I've offered to take them next week for a few hours to give her a break. It's like, if you don't reach out for help, then people don't know you need it. So
Mhm.
it's important to sort of have that village and have that support, and we all just try and help each other.
Yeah, no,
So,
absolutely. And reaching out for help is such an important part of self-care too. Most women, like including myself, like I am not so comfortable reaching out for help. I would reach out for
yeah,
help when it's like a total crisis situation. And
desperate.
I'm
Yeah,
changing that. I'm changing that even with like the family members or my husband or with our nanny or um, my friends. I'm trying to like push myself to go get more comfortable asking for help because you don't
yeah.
want to be in a crisis situation before you seek out help.
It's funny how I don't know whether it's just a thing that's wired into us as mums or just how we grew up or I don't know, but yeah, asking for help. I think a lot of us feel like asking for help means you're failing. And that's
Yes.
just not the case. You're not
Mhm.
failing. And so what I've been trying to help my friends with and everything as well is just ask. If I can't do it, I can't do it. But if I can,
Mhm.
I will help you. So let's try and help each other before we get to a stage where we're so desperate and so depleted that we're no good to anyone.
Yes,
Like
yes.
it's easy for me to help my friends, but even I have to still take my own advice and have to
Mhm.
be like, hang on a second. Oh, are you able to help me with this or that? And yeah, it's hard. It is hard. But what's the worst people can say is no. And you're no worse off than if you didn't ask in the first place anyway. But at
Right,
least people are
exactly.
aware now. So, and look, a lot of the time I've found whenever I've needed help over the years with certain things, friends are always very quick to jump in and help because that's
Mhm.
what friends do and family and depends on everyone's situation and
Yeah,
what they got. But
yeah.
I love that. So, oh gosh, I feel like I can ask a million questions and talk about a million things and we don't have a million hours. So, in your experience and what you've done so far as a coach, how do you how do you feel that relates and works in with you as a doctor? Like, do the two worlds kind of cross over?
So they do cross over in the manner that as a doctor, because I'm a pediatrician, I see all these, I interact with parents and kids like
Yeah.
all the time. And that kind of gives me, that broadens my perspective because I'm not just dealing with people who are in my family or in my friend circle. I see
Mm,
like all different categories of parents, like different parenting styles, different
mm.
situations, different
Different
problems that
needs.
people deal
Mm,
with. And I take care of so many sick children, and that gives me a lot of perspective too, that if I'm getting an opportunity to make it better for my kids and for other kids, why not? And
mm,
that's one of the motivation or incentives from my parent coaching work, that these kids are our next generation, and if
mhm.
I can give something to them, I would love to, and I would want to.
Wow.
So yes, my experience in my medical practice gives me a lot of perspective.
My goodness, you are just one beautiful human being. You
Thank you.
I
You're
don't know
very
even how
generous,
you
Mel.
I don't even know how you find the time, to be honest. I mean, I can only imagine being a pediatrician is already, like, full on work. So adding
Mhm.
coaching on top of that, you must really be passionate and really care about the people you're serving and who you're helping, and I just think that's absolutely beautiful. So I guess to probably wrap it up, not that I want to, but where can people find you and what can people do next if they want to work with you?
So, I would say that if somebody is listening to this today and as a parent they feel stuck and deep down they feel like they're ready, they want something to change, I think it's amazing because the fact that the awareness, I would say, is it's the first step in the shift, and that awareness is powerful. So, where people can find me, you can learn more about my work and my coaching program by visiting my website, which is www.parentingrefreshed.com. And then I have an Instagram handle, which is dr_Sarita Singhal. People
Lovely.
can schedule a free discovery call with me via the website where we can kind of figure out if we can work together. And I also wanted to mention that, yes, I do have this 12-week program, but I also offer like private coaching sessions depending on what the needs of the clients are. So those are also possibilities.
Fantastic. Well, I'll put all the details in the description. So if anyone wants to get in touch with you, please reach out to Sarita because I have really loved watching all her content. And then even today, just talking to you has been fantastic. And I just think there's not enough people doing what you do, to be honest. Like, I don't see a lot of parent coaches that are actually in it still. Like you've got what, a
Mhm.
teenager in between and a 2-year-old. Like you are living you are living what you're preaching, so to speak.
Right,
So
right.
I just think it's fantastic. And if you guys want to reach out, I'll pop the details in the description and you can get in touch with Sarita whenever it suits you. Okay. Well, thank you for joining us today.
Yeah,
And
thank you.
I will continue to see you on the socials and look forward to talking to you again soon.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mel. Thank you so much for having me. I had a great time with you.
Oh, you're so welcome.